In dollars and cents this morning, we dive into a brand new survey that shows just 27% of men rate their mental health as excellent. Pretty low, right? And when it comes to financial health, that number drops even lower. It's a silent struggle for a lot of guys. And joining us now to shed light on the connection between money and mental health is Nathan Astle, a financial therapist at Beyond Finance. Nathan, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So this new survey shows that many men staying silent about their struggles. Why is it hard for men to maybe open up and talk about some of that financial stress?
Well, unfortunately, our culture has kind of set a lot of men up to feel like they're supposed to have it all together and that they need to be stoic, and it's just baloney, quite honestly. And one of the things that we're learning from this Beyond Finance survey is that it leads to feelings of shame and isolation and frustration and anxiety. And it's something we have to acknowledge is affecting a lot of people. This is not something that we just know how to do and know how to do it perfectly.
So let's break this down a little bit. What are some of the hidden ways that financial stress is impacting a man's overall well-being?
Yeah, a big part of it is debt, and specifically what debt can do with feelings of frustration or anxiety and embarrassment. I think a lot of men experience embarrassment because they feel like by somehow struggling with money, they are not as much a man. And it's something that really, what we're finding out from this Beyond Finance survey is that it leads them to keeping it secret and staying isolated, which we know from a lot of research that isn't good for men. That's not good for anybody. Humans are supposed to do things together, and we're supposed to be teams, and that doesn't work if we're not allowing men to take up space talking about their feelings around money and the stressors it might put on them.
And Nathan, by keeping that in, how does that impact a man's relationships or maybe their families if they have one?
Well, one thing we do know is that shame leads to secrecy. Kind of a shocking statistic from the Beyond Finance survey is over half of men admitted to keeping some kind of financial secret from their partner. And we know that secret keeping isn't great for relationships. So what we can do is make sure that we, one, are talking more, and not just talking about the dollars and cents themselves, but also talking about the emotional impact it has on our lives. Talking about how we grew up around money, talking about, is the way that I grew up around money working for me? Is that something that I want to continue? Is the way that we handle money together as a couple, does that work? Or do we need to make some adjustments? Do we need to come up with different systems? All of that is so important, but we just need to talk more and be more vulnerable when we're talking about money.
When taking that step, I mean, obviously that's a really tough first step for a lot of guys. How do you advise people to even start that conversation in the first place?
Yeah, it is. It can be really hard. I think, one, we do need to acknowledge it still needs to happen, even if it's hard. We do need to open up. We can't gamble with our well-being. But two, when it comes to starting the conversation, I think it can be fun and maybe a little less intense just by asking our partners or our friends, like, how did you grow up around money? Ask people about their stories. I think it's really fun, just like when you're, dating and you're getting to know somebody, finding out about their past can be a good stepping stone into what's going on currently. Because how we grew up around money has a huge impact on how we view money today and how we behave.
Any other steps that you might offer to help kind of rebuild that confidence around money, particularly for men?
Along with having a support system, I think it's important to remember that you don't have to have it all figured out all at once. Start small. If you've got a plan or a goal, or you want to get a budget together, or you want to figure out which credit card to tackle first, just start small. What's the next step that you can take? Don't get in your head too much if you can about, oh, I'm supposed to have this master plan. You don't have to have a master plan. Just take the next step. And I think the final big, most important thing is to remember you are not your paycheck. You are not your debt. These are things you have and you might need to deal with, but it isn't who you are. Your value isn't up for debate, just no matter what's going on with your bank account. I know that's easier said than done, but we got to learn to disentangle our identities from our dollars.
Yeah, money does not define you. Beyondfinance.com, a good resource to go to for more information. Nathan, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Of course, thanks for having me.